Welcome to 21st Sports, and we're going to talk about Jahlil Okafor's incident in Boston. And what happened was, after the Sixers had lost to the Celtics, and they're 0-16, the only team ever to start back-to-back seasons 0-16. Of course, Okafor, he was drafted as the third overall pick in this last year's draft. He wasn't a part of last year's debacle. I guess that's a nice word for what their season was in Philadelphia last year, but he's definitely a part of this season and their 0-16 start, which makes me wonder, why are you even out at the bar? You know, you're 0-16. I think, maybe get a win before you go get a drink. But anyway, that's his business. He can do whatever the heck he wants. It's a little interesting that, Johnny Manziel goes to a bar, doesn't even have a drink, and he's benched for the rest of the season. But Oakfor goes to a bar, and I know it's a totally different store, it's a totally different franchise and everything, but he goes to a bar, and I know he's just 19, he's a teenager, so, but just because you're a teenager doesn't mean you should act like a little baby. And that was kind of thing, he's obviously under the influence, and it's kind of an argument towards, hey, don't drink. Not a smart thing. You get drunk, you go out to the club, and then you do stupid things like engage with other drunk people who are also being stupid. And granted, they were being jerks. They were saying the Sixers sucked and everything, apparently. Which, that's not really, it's not like they were lying. The Sixers do suck. You haven't won a game all year. Shouldn't get so offended. And if you are that offended, you shouldn't throw weak punches at drunk people, which really easy targets. It's funny how tall guys always throw these really weak punches. It's like, dude, you're 7 foot tall almost. Not quite 7 foot tall. He's actually, he's only 1 inch shy of 7 foot at 6'11", but, it's kind of like when you see Shaq throw a punch, back when he was in his playing days. You're like, man, Shaq, you're so huge, and then he throws these weak punches. But it was a real weak punch. The punch that he threw at the guy who, instantly went to the ground. The guy's drunk. And then some other guy jumped on Okafor's back and was trying to hit him with his phone in his hand. It was just ridiculous incident. People just, it shows, it's like an argument of, why not to drink? Because you don't want to be seen acting a fool like everyone involved in the situation. They said, just because someone says you suck and your team sucks, it's not a reason to then escalate the situation to violence. And the thing is, hey, it's a reason to maybe, get motivated to go out there and win a game. How about that one? Might maybe win a game, and then maybe people won't say you suck. You're 0-16, you deserve to be told you suck. Maybe light a fire under your butt. But the thing was, actually, when I was reading about this, I was more on the side of Okafor, but then when I watched it, I was like, man, he comes off looking so bad in this. Not that, anybody in the same situation's gonna look bad, in our lives, it's not like we have cameras on us 24/7 as Okafor does, as being a celebrity and everything, a sports superstar. He's got a lot more scrutiny, and that's not really fair, and I understand that too. They if people saw me in my most embarrassing moments, I'd look a fool too, as would we all. But what really made me actually kind of, turn a little bit towards, thinking geez, Oakfor, what are you doing? It's just the way he was responding to the people, where he just instantly just started yelling at them about how they're broke and he has money. And it's like, hey man, maybe that's why the Sixers don't win a game, because all they care about is that they got their money. Screw you, I don't care, I've got my money, I don't have to actually go do anything on the court. So you ain't gonna be money there for long on the court if you don't produce on the court. And that's what really matters, not about, oh, I got money. It's like, oh, good for you, you got money. Well, guess what? 99% of the people in America do not have money. So good for you, buddy, that you've got lots of money, that you're one of the very privileged few in America to be so rich that you just throw your, I've got money, you're broke. It's like, yeah, well, that's true. And it's also true that the Sixers suck, and that you need to actually put in the work and maybe not like spend so much time at the club and getting drunk at the bar. Maybe spend more time in practice, working hard, hitting the weights, doing, your drills on the court, suicide drills and things of that nature to actually maybe get a W. Could you do that for the fans in Philadelphia? Maybe, ever. I mean, the Sixers have been the worst team for a long time. They've just been tanking. You got all these top picks and all this talent, and what is it good for? Nothing. It's just kind of sad, really, all in all. And I mean, hey, like I said, Okafor, he's a teenager, but just because you're a teenager, it doesn't mean you have to act like a little spoiled baby, And I understand, too, the fans in Boston can be total jerks. I mean, they don't call them massholes for nothing. And this is also a city where Paul Pierce got stabbed. So, I mean, that's the thing, too. What are you doing going out to the club in Boston? Don't you know that they'll stab their own players? Like, Paul Pierce was at the club back in his playing days in Boston, and he got stabbed by somebody who was associated with the Made Men, who's a rap group out of Boston with Benzino. And, they stabbed Paul Pierce over a girl because she liked Paul Pierce more than she liked this guy, and so they got jealous, and then they attacked Paul Pierce and they stabbed him, and Paul Pierce fought him off, and that was a much more serious incident. This was kind of a joke. Luckily, thank God, that it was not anything near as serious as that, or as it could have been, and thank God it was just a couple drunk fools, and they, a weak punch was able to just kind of take the guy down. And even the other guy sucker punching Okafor, jumping on his back, coming at him from behind, thankfully Okafor's okay. Thankfully he's going to be able to play. That's, really the most important thing, that everybody's safe and everything, and nothing's really going to come of it. No charges were pressed on either side. That's a good thing. You don't always have to get, the law involved, especially in a situation. I mean, no one was hurt, no harm, no foul. But it really is just something, hopefully, Okafor could learn from, not to make such a foolish mistake, and maybe, like I said, it's all for the best. That is something that, nothing really too serious happened to where, no one was hurt, no one was injured. And if it can serve towards maybe waking them up a little bit towards like, hey, maybe don't go out to the bar, especially in, towns of opponents. It's like, there's so many other ways, like get some room service, or there's a hotel bar. I mean, you don't have to go out to the club, and then, I mean, you can do whatever you want. If you want to continue to be a loser, that's fine, but pretty sure that winners don't go doing such things, and the winners also don't get told that they suck, or if they do get told they suck, well, they don't really take offense because they know that they don't. You only really take offense to something when it's something that you believe deep down inside yourself. So, you're a winner in that you were the 3rd round pick in the draft. That's a winner. You were a winner at Duke, and you could be a winner in the Sixers. Just get your act together, buddy. That's all. And ignore those massholes, and there's gonna be people in other states too. This could be a problem, especially after this has come out now. That anyone who sees Okafor out is going to try to get under his skin, because that's the thing that makes you a target. Already being a celebrity, being a sports superstar, you're kind of a target, especially for people who are out at the bar, getting drunk, acting a fool, and they're just, already they're uninhibited from the alcohol. And then on top of it, now that they know that if they just start razzing on you, that they're going to get a reaction from you, that's just going to invite all the more attention. So instead of giving people what they want, that's what they want. They want to get that response. Don't feed into it. Just walk away. It's kind of like when keeping it real goes wrong. Like, you don't need to prove nothing. Like I said, hey, I got all the money, you're just broke. Well, hey, if you know that inside, that's the thing too, is like, to be like, oh man, I suck, but I got money. It's like, ooh, dude, that's not a good look. It's, really, You should just have the confidence, believe in yourself, and don't pay attention to fools, especially knowing that they're inebriated. Of course, when you yourself are inebriated, well, then your judgment's going to be impaired to the point where you're going to get into some things. And yeah, it was really just a whole bunch of nothing. A mountain being made out of a molehill. They're calling it a street fight. Well, if that's a street fight, oosh, then that's sad. Come on, it wasn't. It was closer to a pillow fight than a street fight. The only thing that made it a street fight was it happened in the street. I guess it's a fight. I wouldn't really call it a fight. He threw a really weak blow. The guy went right down. They really didn't want no part of him either. At least from the very short clip. You can Google that yourself. I'm not necessarily going to leave a link to it because I don't really want to give any more exposure necessarily to, the people who broke the story, because I don't really get down all that salaciousness. I am talking about it, no doubt. But I just, it's something that I've thought that it should be kind of explained more so just the fact of, that... originally I wanted to talk about it because I want to say that, hey, it's not Okafor's fault, because the fans in Boston are known to start incidences with athletes. They, attacked Paul Pierce in Boston, and I guess that's a huge umbrella to throw on like a whole city, because obviously 99.99999% of the people in Boston are awesome people who don't go around attacking athletes. And these people didn't attack Oakfor. They just insulted him by telling him the truth that the 76ers suck. But it's the thing where, it's like, well, in Boston, you can run into that kind of thing. You got to have a little bit thicker skin. And actually, once I looked into it more, once I actually watched the footage of the incident, then I was like, well, this kind of brings it back to the middle a little bit more. Not so much, it wasn't really a good look on Okafor's part once I saw the video. That's the thing, too, about video. When you're reading an article, you can kind of, your own biases will kind of come up in it, because you'll read into it what you want to read into it. And I'm generally going to more take the favor of the athlete, because I know that the media and the press tends to exaggerate things. Just they want to get the clicks. They want to, have people come to their website and click on the article, and they put, street fight and all this stuff, and they make it all into this big incident when it really wasn't. And so I'm just giving my opinion on this, opinion that's not just out for trying to make this into some big freaking incident, not trying to pump it up, hype it up, just trying to actually be a more honest and just having a more level head in terms of looking at the situation, and not trying to just pump it up for clicks and views and all this stuff. I guess at the end of the day, I am talking about it, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was some hard punch and it was a street fight, because it was not that at all. It was really a bunch of nothing, and it was just foolishness that could have definitely been avoided on both sides. They shouldn't have been treating him like that. He also shouldn't have responded like that. At the same time, who are we to say that we wouldn't have responded the same way as he did, especially when you're impaired, which actually, he's 19. I'm not going to get into all that, but what do you, isn't that something kind of, that's a little suspect there, that like Johnny Manziel, who is of drinking age, he gets benched, right, for the rest of the season for just being in a bar. Okafor, well, apparently he can go get drunk, and that's okay with the Sixers. No wonder they're 0-16. But let me know what you think in the comment. Oh, allegedly. But come on, man. You watch that. If he wasn't inebriated, that's an even worse look on his part. I don't know what's worse. The fact that he was drinking underage, or that if he wasn't drunk and that's how he acts. But let me know what you think anyway in the comments section below. I said I think either way, I don't really care what he does, or hey, if he wants to go around being a loser, that's his business, even though I think he has a lot of potential. He could have a lot of success, and I really hope that this can serve as, a learning situation, and then this would be something he could turn that negative into a positive. It doesn't have to be that big of a negative. Right now, I don't really think it is necessarily, other than the hype the media is putting into it. But let me know what you think in the comments section below. Definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions, whether you agree, whether you totally disagree. Of course, this is just my opinion on the situation. I'm just going off of what I've seen, what I viewed in the video, what I read across a number of different sports websites. This is a story popping up all over the internet. So I read a bunch of those articles, and this is just my opinion based on those articles, and of course based on the footage. But as of now, seems like it's pretty much, a situation that's been blown out of proportion, and it's going to result in basically nothing. But let me know, like I said, whether you agree, disagree, whatever. That's fine. That's your opinion. This is my opinion, and I am interested in your opinion, because I know that I'm not necessarily, not like my opinion is just going to be right. It's just my opinion, and I can always learn from your comments. People point out things that I may have overlooked from time to time, and that's an education. So thank you very much for those of you that do leave comments and do point out things that I may have overlooked or mistaken, and I do appreciate that. Again, thank you very much for listening. It is greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good day and had a good week, and have a great weekend, and enjoy all the sports.